Wanted food hampers, kids' clothes, toys and cash as Australia's worst drought in a century is devastating farming communities across much of the country. One town in northern New South Wales has banded together to do its bit. Bangalow, which has so far escaped the drought, has adopted the town of Bingara, one of the worst hit towns in the state, a good 5.5 hours away. The Bangalow Adopts Bingara campaign is doing what it can to keep the town afloat and help life go on as normally as possible for local residents. Lisa Laing is the woman who started it all, and she joins us now from Brisbane. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. This all began in Bangalow. Now, that's in the Byron Bay hinterland, a wonderful part of New South Wales. What led you to reach out to the people of Bingara, which is, as we said, a good 5.5 hours away?
Oh, look, last year I wanted to make a contribution myself, and I started off by donating to some of the big charities who do an amazing job. And for me, I wanted to show my daughter, I have an 8-year-old, I wanted to connect her somehow to the idea of giving. And it led me to connect up with a little band of people in Bangalow, and we essentially adopted the town of Bingara. We wanted to provide some support, but not just a one-off support, in an ongoing relationship.
Why do you feel drawn to people impacted by the drought when, as you say, where you're from, you don't really see those signs? Can you?
No, that's right.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the drought. I mean, it's dry where we are, but for us, I guess we're a little fortunate. We have the coastal environment that allows a lot of us to work in jobs that is not on the land. So for us, it's an opportunity to support, the people who are our food producers and who are doing it really tough at the moment. And we've been able to garner a huge amount of support in our communities. I'm constantly astonished by the people that show up to, people that I've never met before, who show up with armfuls of groceries and who are, so giving, because for us it's such a big problem, is that there's so many farmers that just don't have the support and the financial security at the moment that we can, in some way alleviate.
You started with your first mission, a convoy of feed trucks to Bingara. We've got some pictures of that actually. And this trip, you're changing tack. What are you taking to Bingara when you head there in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, recently we asked Bingara, we have a line of communication where we're able to say to the town, what is it that you guys need? And one of the big needs they had was a lot of the farming families were unable to pay the fees for the kids to go off on school camps. So we've been really connected this year to the Bingara Central School, which has around about 120 families in the community, and many of those kids were faced with this idea that as much as they'd love to go off on school camp, the parents just couldn't afford the $150, $250, $350 for the camp fees. So we banded together and we raised about $5,000 for that to get quite a few kids off on camp. And then now we're working on Christmas Day hampers for every family in the school community, so that we can bring some kind of cheer for them on the Christmas Day when they wake up and have some novelty foods and things that might be considered a luxury at this point in time, to bring some Christmas to them.
Oh, it's amazing. And what's so inspiring about what you're doing is it just shows how it just takes one person. This is just you who made a phone call and off you went, and you've managed to get most of your hometown on board, including this young resident. Let's take a listen to one of the kids in the town.
Dear farmers, thank you so much for being a farmer. We know it's hard now that New South Wales is in a drought, but thank you for getting over it and keeping on going. Without you guys, life would really struggle.
So gorgeous. Gratitude to the farmers. What are some of the offerings from locals? Because I know they've all just stepped up and done what they can to help your drive. What are some of the things that they've given?
We've got the CWA in Bangalow are making 120 jars of chutney, so that every hamper has a homemade jar of chutney. We've got all of the kids at our school making handmade Christmas cards with messages of hope and love from our community to theirs. We've also had all the kindy kids at our school who've painted the boxes that we're setting the hampers out in. And we've also had some really heartwarming things. There's a local family in Bangalow who went out and went on a shopping spree of new toys that we're going to be able to take and divert, new toys out there for families that are feeling unable to buy Christmas presents for their kids this year. So we're going to, allow that to happen. And then we've also been able to collect quite a lot of second-hand kids' clothes and shoes, and we're going to set up a pop-up shop in the main street for a week or two where residents that are in need of, you know, some extra things for their home can come in and help themselves. So there's a huge number of things that we're working on just to be able to tell Bingara that we love them and we're thinking of them at this point.
I think the people of Bingara will be very much feeling the love. You've done so much for one town. Do you hope that, obviously you don't need the whole of Australia to get on board and help Bingara, do you hope people might replicate your model, that model of one person stepping up, and do the same elsewhere for other towns in need?
Oh, I'd love to see that happen. It's actually quite astonishing how one person can roll a movement and how many people are waiting for, I guess, the leadership of somebody else to make a decision to commit to that. And then, you know, the pure sense of community of people who've stepped up since we started this it's amazing. So I'd love to see this started with other towns. I think that there's something so heartening for one town to adopt or support another town on an ongoing basis, not just a one-off, you know, let's send something out, although that's wonderful. What I feel has more value and more merit is that as this drought unfolds and doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon, that we're able to say to another town, what can we do to support you, and go to the resources in our town. So I would love to see other people. All you have to do is ask. You know, I'm constantly asking for support and help from people around me, and I'm astonished at how many people stand up and offer it. So if you're thinking about it, please don't hesitate. Start it and start a movement if you like, and just get in there and get it done.